Hello everyone, Jimmy Grant here with, today we have 7 common rhythm mistakes when you play rhythm guitar. These are things I see in newer players and when people are just beginning. But before we get started, let's go and talk. I have a new rhythm guitar course out that you can check out in the link below here. It's right at the top there. It's my Pompe course, so it goes more in depth of what we go over in this lesson. So if you enjoy this lesson, go down there and check it out. And then also, please, if you could like and subscribe and share. And if you enjoy this, if you want any other kind of content, comment below and let me know what you want to see. So anyways, I like to keep these intros short, so let's go and get started. Let's start with the first rhythm mistake. You'll notice I'm playing a different guitar today. It's a gitan, and sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So that's why. So anyways, let's go. The first mistake is playing too loud. There's not a big difference between if you play louder. So it's more motion, and the volume is not that much different when you're exerting so much strength with your right hand. So that's number one, playing too loud. This is the common rhythm mistake, and it's just play quiet, or you don't want to wear yourself out when you're playing. The difference is not that much. And also you have to be conscious. Some guitars are a little louder than others. I just did a little video and I actually wasn't playing that loud, but I was in front of the other guitar player and the guitar was much louder. But it's just things to keep in mind of when you're playing with people. So we all make mistakes. Okay, so let's go on number 2. Another common mistake I see is the upstroke. I always try to teach when you start playing, do it without the upstroke. So there's no upstroke there. But I see a lot of this. Too much. That's too much. That's if you're playing with the upstroke. But I hear a lot. The upstroke is a very subtle thing, so you need to spend a lot of time with this and focus and listen and listen to yourself. At the end of these common rhythm mistakes, I'm going to give you reasons to fix them too. So stay tuned for that as well. Let's move on to number 3 though. So upstroke, we went over that. It's very subtle. You want to really hone in on it if you're going to do it. But I recommend not even doing the upstroke in general. Okay, and now we're going to go on to number 3, which is letting the chords ring too much. So, you get this sound if you let the chords ring too much. Really, you want to keep it short and crunchy. Once my pick hits the string, I'm muting. That's when I'm playing rhythm. Once this pick makes contact, that's when I stop letting the strings ring. This chord I'm playing is a G minor 6. So that's another big one. Another common mistake is chord shapes, and this is subjective. This is my own opinion, and it's what I learned from watching videos of professional players doing it, like Ona Winterstein or Serge Camps or Nush Rosenberg. And, I noticed that the chords that I learned when I started playing, which are still used a lot, but just not as much when you're in the rhythm guitar role. I noticed that they weren't using the chords that I had learned, which is like, the first song I learned was minor swing. It was the first song I learned on guitar. And it was this chord, which is a good chord. There's nothing wrong with this chord. But then I noticed a lot of dare I say it, a lot of the gypsies were using this chord. And the reason I like these kind of bass chords is because there's more bass in it, and you get more growl from the guitar. So I try to kind of incorporate these big bar chords more often than not, if I can. Just because it just feels more, it feels more. just a nicer sound. So that's another one. Is chord shapes. You know, and you always want to also please make sure your chords match with the melody and the voicing. And, you know, I often see people just throwing reharm to chords or extensions, and it's not really doesn't always work. And for me, if I'm a soloist and I hear a chord that I don't like or that I'm not expecting, it throws me off a little bit. I'm sensitive to that kind of stuff. Maybe other people will react to it, but for me, it's like because I'm trying to focus on what I'm doing, and then it's a distraction. Sometimes if I'm playing a worked out solo or whatever, or a Django solo, and I hear a wrong chord, it can be irritating. So, you know, double check your chords, make sure the harmonies are right. This is going to be another controversial statement, but you know, I think people say playing rhythm is you know, just learn to play a rhythm and be a rhythm specialist. You still need to know some harmony. You still need to sing, and you still need to, or something, just a way to hear if your chords are right. Because if you just play chomp on chords and you have no idea how they're functioning under the melodies or under the soloist, it's not. It's going to hold you back a little bit in your musical growth. So I still like, you know, if you learn a song on rhythm guitar, learn the melody too, just so you know it and you hear the melody. And it's I can't stress that enough. So that's number 4. Next we'll do next is number 5, which is we have over-exaggerated movements, and this is like the upstroke. You know, if you know, sometimes we get too hyper when we're playing, and then we start playing louder, stuff like that, or like we think we need to move our hand more, and you don't. You want to keep rhythm, just keep it straight, just keep it simple. You know, keep it KISSS, keep it simple, stupid, is what they say. Playing minor string. So like an over-exaggerated movement would be like you know, just like adding little rhythmic things in there and stuff like that. It's not it doesn't sound good. You're not helping the music at all. You know, it's and then you're just, to some degree, you're kind of like you're stomping on the soloist. And when you're playing rhythm guitar, your main job is to really you're supporting the soloist. So that's super important. Okay. So yeah, we'll go to number 6, and this is pay attention to stylistic differences. This is I think it's important to understand your role as a rhythm guitar player. And like an example would be like if someone's playing, you know, like just little stylistic difference. Like if you're playing something with a moving bass line, a waltz or something like that. I see this, you know, some people play it up here, like a Montagne Saint-Geneviève. It's like, I'll see people play a moving bass line like this. So, which is not really stylistically correct. You know, the old rhythm guys would play here, sometimes up here, you know, but... You know, paying attention to like some of these subtle things, like the bass is moving in a different way. You know, if you just play like this. So now you've switched the bass line from 5-1 to 1-5. So that's something to keep in mind. It's just a stylistic difference, and then how you attack the guitar too. And then, you know, some person may play a waltz like this, depending on who you're playing with, like. Or it really depends who you're playing with. You know, and that stuff may be more appropriate with an accordion player than a guitar player. You know, because you don't. Once again, the main goal is not to step on the soloist. So, this is something to keep in mind. And then chord, it goes back to chords voicing. All this stuff kind of goes together. Which brings me to the next step, number 7, which I accidentally mentioned earlier, is you need to learn the melody. However you do it, sing it, learn it on the guitar. I mean, you should sing it anyways, so it gets stuck in your head, and it just makes sense. But yeah, I think that's one of the most important things, is listening and learning the melody, and also listening to recordings of people doing it. I talk a lot about these things in my rhythm guitar course, so that's one way you can kind of try to fix some of these mistakes. So check that below, and then also I got some other suggestions too. One big thing is record yourself playing, and if it doesn't swing or if it doesn't sound right, it doesn't sound right. It's your ear. It's there's this common thing like, oh, you don't like hearing yourself play. There is some of that in this world of music. There's some of it you won't like, but then also things do sound bad. So it's important to learn to listen to yourself critically when you record yourself. Another thing, practice with the metronome. So you can develop a solid time. That's a really big one. You can do it on 2 and 4 too. Just be careful, because you can end up overplaying on that 2 and 4, which in gypsy jazz is still important, but it's not like if you were playing swing. It's a different feel than that. Another thing you can do is play along with Django recordings, and it'll really tell if you can even keep up with them, because you'll find yourself at a different spot in the song when you're playing rhythm. That's another thing. Another thing you can do is practice in front of a mirror, so you can see the motion in your hand and see if it looks correct, and just see how much motion you're using, because you don't want to use too much motion when you're playing. You want to keep it as minimal as you can without really as minimal as you can without tiring yourself. Because sometimes you're going to be playing rhythm for 3 hours on a gig. It's a long time. So that's another one. And then let's go with the final one is, we talked about voicings earlier, and and the singing. And if you want to figure out if you have the right voicing, a good way is to kind of sing the melody over the chords, and listening, of course, too. But if you sing the melody over the chords and you have a feeling of tension that doesn't sound right, it's likely wrong. There's a lot of subs that you'll see in these real books and stuff like that you think are right, but often they're not. They work just because there's an added extension in there to go with the melody. But sometimes it's just a wrong chord. Every song has a skeleton to it, so this is important to think of, which is like the basic bare chords to it. So this is something with this music it's going to help with your soloing if you do that. Anyways, that's all I have for you today. So if you want, please check out my rhythm guitar course below. Like and subscribe. If you have any other content or videos you want me to do, please let me know. Anyways, thanks for watching, and see you soon.